Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Welcome, everyone. This is Paul Everton, the host of The Truth Table, and it's episode 96, August the 6th, 2025. And my guest today is live from South Africa, and we're going to be talking about her book. She's a newly published author, and let me just show the book here. Strange Blood. Now, Strange Blood. Fear is the oldest form of control. In Strange Blood, Olien Neuhoff takes readers on a bold investigative journey through the anatomy of fear-driven propaganda. From the horrors of the Holocaust to the global upheaval of the COVID era, drawing from history, psychology, virology, media manipulation, and whistleblower testimony, this book exposes how fear has been weaponized to shape beliefs, suppress truth, and control entire populations. And right after this, we're going to get to meet Olien and talk about her book. Thank you all for joining me here today and I would like to thank my guest for joining me, and I congratulate her on her new book, and I look forward to talking to you. Welcome, Olien. Thanks for coming.
Good evening, Paul. It's already evening here by us. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you very much for having me and for giving me this opportunity on the Truth Table. And for creating such a platform for us authors to come and introduce our work to everyone. So, yes, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. What inspired you to start a book?
Well, I think everyone will agree, the last couple of years since, actually before COVID, it started for me in 2006. When I started, I was feeling that something wasn't right in the world, and I started searching. It started with church hopping. We had a meeting at one of our church Wednesday night Bible studies, and the pastor had a very interesting video that he showed us, and it was of different kinds of worship all over the world. And when I looked at it, I thought to myself, Olien, you're missing out on something. It's very important for people. They give everything. It looks like their entire life revolves around their religion. And so I started searching, and that's where it started. And I prayed a very simple prayer, and I asked God, if there is something you want to show me, then show me. And since that prayer, everything in my life has changed. The first thing he showed me was I was sitting in my office at work, and 2 offices away from me, a woman was talking to someone else, and she said to this man, do you know that all the flags in the world, all the countries' flags are has got hidden symbolism in them? And I could only hear pieces of the conversation. So later on in the day, I went to her and I said to her, please, I heard you talking. Please explain to me what this is about. And she started teaching me bit by bit about the Freemasons and the Jesuits and the secret societies and how everything fit together. That's where it started. So about 3 months from there, I was baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I started keeping Sabbath, and I started learning from Professor Walter Veit. Now, Walter is a German. He's actually a zoologist, qualified, but he then also discovered the Sabbath, also through very interesting testimony. And I learned from him everything about the secret societies, from the oligarchy, from the Venetians, from all the way up front to the lower echelons of the secret societies. And through the years, I developed a very clear sense that the war is for our minds. It's a psychological war.
Right.
And then I met Dr. Piers Robinson on Facebook. I saw his work and I started to read and learn from his lectures about propaganda. And the more I started listening to him and see, I read a post that he had on about Duma and the gas attack on Syria. And it was very technical. It was a very technical post, and I struggled to read through it. But when I got through it, I wrote to him and I said to him, I cannot believe what I just read. What happened is they staged and that gas attack. It never happened. So the mainstream media staged that whole scene, and they killed 40 plus civilians just to get the picture right for the propaganda. And there I realized, listen, there's a lot you have to learn about propaganda. This is the war. This is the game. If you do not understand propaganda, you don't understand anything. So I listened to everything I could get hold of from him, David Miller, and I just started questioning everything. And that is the main thing you will hear also when he talks. He will say, the biggest problem is that there's not discussion. We're not allowed to have open discussion. They keep us from thinking critically. And that is why most people get caught up in this propaganda, because we are not taught to think critically. The moment you start asking questions, they humiliate you. Especially the academics. I mean, see what happened to Dr. Piers himself, and to David Miller, and to, if you know what Walter Veit has gone through, he's been disciplined, I don't know how many times. He's been in disciplinary meetings by our own church because he speaks the truth. He doesn't hold back. So it is very, if you are just a normal person like me, I'm not academic, I'm not highly qualified or anything. It's very scary from my point of view to start finding out all these things and to try and start to speak out. And what I've learned from books, I've been an avid reader my entire life. And what I've learned from books is a book doesn't do this if someone offends them. The book has the truth in it, and it doesn't back off. It doesn't matter what the audience say, what the person who's reading it say, or what their opinion is. The book's message stays the same. So I knew as I grew and as I learned from all these really well-researched guys that knows what they're talking, professionals, I knew that at the end of all of this, I have to write a book, because there's more people like Olien out there that doesn't know all these intellectual propaganda jargon. It's for us, it's very difficult to get to understand what's really going on. So I knew I was going to write a book. That's where it started, all those even before COVID. Then COVID started, and the moment it started, because I was an air hostess, a cabin attendant for SIA when I was young, and I know what a 737 Boeing looks like when a bird flies into it. There's no ways that a fluffy will do that to the Twin Towers. There's just no way. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I just knew when I saw it, this doesn't make sense. So, and that's where everything started, where I knew I wanted to write a book for people like me to start thinking critically, to just summarize everything for them and tell them how propaganda works, give them the links to the professionals so they can start research for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I do have a clip if you want to watch. 9/11 is chapter 3 of your book. And let's just watch this together.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh my God.
We can't see anything. We can't see a second plane in the picture. There we see the explosion.
This is at the World Trade Center. Obviously a major fire there, and there has been some sort of explosion. We don't fully know the details.
Heard a very loud blast explosion. Not clear now why this explosion took place.
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. We just had another explosion. We got another explosion on the tower. 1013. 1013. Then 1-2 had another explosion.
I mean, they didn't expect the original footage to surface, but
Yes.
we know the technology exists. I've done, like yourself, I've done a lot of research on the abilities of the military. I know that Mossad took over the Pentagon, and a lot of crimes blew up that day.
Yes.
Building 7 had these people, all the documents for these criminal, so they got away with everything. They took all the gold underneath the building. All the gold was gone. Even if it would have melted, it would have hardened again, right? So that it was the biggest heist, but it was also the biggest crime against mankind, because it started all these wars, of just pointing fingers and blaming, and it's perpetual. It's like nonstop. Like, can't Israel get along with anybody? Like, do they hate everyone? Like, why did we create this? Israel's a family, a man. Jacob, it's not a land, and any Orthodox Jew would know that you don't have a Jewish land until your Messiah returns. That's when it happens. Otherwise, you have to obey God, and they've been praying to multiple gods like since forever.
Yeah.
And not really respecting the Creator, but Moloch, and I mean, it's even in the Bible not to pray to Moloch, and that's what Bohemian Grove is all about. So we're basically kindred spirits, you and I, with that both have cared enough about our fellow man to look a little deeper, right?
Yes.
And your book is based on the same thing, the research that you've done, right?
Yes.
And you've gone into the medical part of it, which was banned. You couldn't say anything on YouTube or click. They shut me down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're a little more lenient right now. I don't need to say it. It was, but it showed the vast spectrum of the criminal entity we're dealing with, that expands to the media, the newspapers, the radio, the television news, the medical officers, the government. Everybody was involved. Like, it showed that we had no one protecting us.
Yeah, I think that was probably the the trauma that I felt most on the day of 9/11. It's as if all your safety is just shattered. How will there ever be any feeling of safety anywhere again? But what makes this so cruel, if you start at the Holocaust, you go through 9/11, you go through COVID, you go through mRNA, there's a lot of other examples as well. But when you go through all of them, it's always the same pattern. They themselves create the false flag operation, the incident they created. Then they send in a solution. They create the fear. They create the hype with the mainstream media. And then they come out as the heroes and they're now fixing everything and sending in teams to, save everyone. But it's the very same people who created the false flag operation in the first place. And the longer they do it, the more and more they do it, it's really like their acting is actually getting very bad. You look at it now and you start feeling embarrassed. If I look and go and look back now at the loops of 9/11, I look at them and I think, how did we miss it? How did we not see that it's holograms? You can see it so clearly. And if you start, I met Dmitry Khalezov only this year through Philip Jimenez. Now, Philip does a lot of research of the oligarchies, the Venetian families, the guys really at the top. I'm actually too scared to talk about them.
Yes.
It's not something that you must just,
Yep.
But Dimitri's stuff, I have listened to a lot of Dr. Piers Robinson. Look, they look at all the aspects, and his stuff is really, really, really good. You can go to any of Dr. Piers' stuff, and you'll find good information there. But if you put all these little bits together and you go and listen to Dimitri, his testimony, it's actually a witness, is the only one that makes 100% sense, that those nuclear detonators were in place when the World Trade Centers were originally planned. The plans were brought up. They had to have it in place. It was part of the law at that time. Mm-hmm. So the nuclear peace treaty was only signed in 1972, and the World Trade Center was construction started early 60s already. So after 9/11, all the other high-rise towers that also had nuclear detonation in, they went and removed it. So why would they do that? They will do that because they know that we found out that it was nuclear detonation that they used with World Trade Center, and it was there from the beginning. So they knew they were going to do that. Not just that they do that, they also sent in all those workers, those emergency workers, without the proper protection gear and clothes to wear. Dimitri says, they went to the site, so he knows what he's talking about. The firefighter shoes, within half an hour, melted. So there was radiation, and that's... there's someone that said, but the water wall didn't break or something. There's a word that he uses, but it did break. It was damaged, and they had to fix it. So, you have to. That's why I put the links for the people. You have to take the time to go and listen to these professionals and put all the evidence that you get, put them together, and then your brain will start asking the questions. But is this logic? There was a guy the other day that explained why it couldn't have been thermite, because the temperatures that thermite needs to go to melt that steel beams in the trade centers, it's not possible. And also the thermite cannot dustify the cement and the steel. So, even a stupid girl like me can start seeing what is going on. And the same with I want to say just short of the Holocaust. David Irving is a brilliant historian. What he does not deny the Holocaust. He puts everything in perspective. He had access to proper information. Are you still there, Paul? Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I had
Yes.
my mic muted, but I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so if you go and listen, but the people are lazy because we are bombarded with so much information. People don't go and sit by the computers and listen to these podcasts. Listen to those links that I've sent you in that book. I'm taking you to all the guys that really knows what they're talking about. They are not fanatical. They don't pull to one side. They say, here's all the evidence. Here's the critical questions. Use your brain and make up your own mind. And then you can start seeing the propaganda pattern through all of these things so clearly. So with the Holocaust also, the big thing was not the Jews. The big thing was that they didn't allow any dissent against the Third Reich. You couldn't even think negatively, and they would, and it wasn't so blown up as they made it. Yes, there was horrific persecution of the Jews. That's absolutely true. But the way they've commercialized it afterwards is not true. I had, as a little girl, I had this picture of these women in these big shower gas chambers grating their nails and their fingers against the walls, and there's marks on the walls. And now if you think about it, I can't even bump my finger hard on a chair and the nail splits. You see, there's no way you can make marks on a cement wall. So they've absolutely used propaganda to install fear, and that's where it starts. They make you scared to say something, to speak up. And that shouldn't be like that. And you can yet listen to all these academics. They say, we should be allowed to have open discussions like this and say, but listen, this is the evidence that we got. Why did this? Why this? And they don't allow us to have that. And the reason they don't allow us is because they are hiding stuff. That is what.
Yeah, we're lied to as well. I mean, there was a typhoid epidemic. That's why a lot of people died in Germany, because there was a typhoid.
Correct.
There was no gas chambers. The doors could be opened on the inside. There was windows. So, I mean, they definitely lied. But the Bolsheviks killed 20 million Christians.
Yes.
In Russia, way more, 20 million. And these are the same Zionist Bolsheviks that merged with Hitler and ruined everything. Because they thought, they sold him the thing that he'll be stronger with us. We'll merge with. It's like the liberals and the New Democrats here in Canada merged, so they had the power. So it's the same kind of thing. But the Bolsheviks are the ones that were forcing the Orthodox Jews to become Zionists.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that were punished and attacked by their own, like the Zionists, the ones in Israel.
Remember, the Zionists is the smokescreen for the Jesuits. They're all the same.
Yep,
it's the same secret society. Yeah, it's the same people.
Yep, they're all connected.
And you must listen to Philip Jimenez's lectures on the Venetian families. It's very, very interesting. Once you start to understand that, these wars and all these games they are playing with us starts to make so much sense. And when you get to COVID, when you listen to Dr. Stefan Lanka, Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Tom Cohen, to Dr. Bailey and the husband, I get so angry when I listen to COVID and I listen to this there's another one now coming out in China. There's, I don't know how many 1,000 people dying. I get so angry because people don't know what is going on, and it's like they're playing with us, like we are rats. They're just like playing with us, and they must be laughing behind us. Because if I think about the time when lockdowns were and COVID was going, how they sprayed the plants, the walls, everything, and I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell are you spraying? There is no virus, so what are you doing? What are you spraying us with to start with? So it makes me so angry because there's really innocent people that are losing their lives. I lost someone that I loved very deeply with this whole COVID thing, with turbo cancer after the injection, and I only have one child, a daughter, beautiful daughter, and she qualified herself as a on these small Cessna planes as a pilot. She lives in New Zealand, and now she's flying for Qantas. And she took the injection, the first one, the Pfizer one, and she took another one now because they just simply curse them into that, and they're young. They think, this injection's not going to do anything to me. And it doesn't matter how many information you send to them. Once the cognitive dissonance is there, it's like you cannot break through it. Their brains has already said, this is the truth. You can show them, here's the truth. Look at all these people dying. Can you not see? I looked at a podcast of a lot of scientists all over the world doing the same test on Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson at the same time, and they had all the screens up, and all of them found exactly the same stuff in them. So I don't even believe that there was placebos. I just think all those injections are really toxic. And I was keeping track of the deaths at one time, and I was just using one country, and it came to 37 deaths per day for a long time, like 2 or 3 months. So I became so depressed that I stopped doing it because I couldn't cope with it anymore. But like people like my mother, she's a good, just a normal person. There's nothing ostentatious about her. She's just a normal, good person. And at her age, they do things. If the government tell them do this, that's what they are doing. They think they are doing the right thing. And how many times have they repeated, it's for the common good. It's to protect your people around you. And they injected her with the first one and all the boosters. She has got inflammation permanently. She had shingles twice, and she's really like the most prudent woman you have ever met in your life. She had shingles twice. I just get so angry with this whole thing and then they want to tell us that we are using hate speech because we are talking about it. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that should be scared, not us. They are the ones committing the murders. They are the ones lying. Why must we keep quiet? I will not stay quiet. That was also another reason why I wrote this book, because they cannot destroy my book. The book is there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But they've been slowly taking over positions, getting the judges appointed, passing laws. I mean, it's been, a lot of people accused our leader of being, not very intelligent. But the people behind this are very intelligent. And the mRNA, for example, to me is a military weapon.
Absolutely.
They can send signals to it and activate them. There's this thing inside the cell, but they like the mRNA so much because they can control your emotion. They can make you happy and own nothing. They openly admit that they can control an emotion. They tell us we're going to be happy. So that is ensuring happiness. That is by force. So
absolutely.
They want it in everything, and a lot of people didn't get it. Only like maybe less than 20% of people. Everyone else are all sheep walking off a cliff. But so they started injecting the food, the beef, and they putting it in all the baby shots. They want the babies to have the mRNA, and this is like an operating system, like a computer system, to digitally attach people to the cloud, and to blur. And the other thing about the mRNA, it shuts down the ability to remember, have new thoughts. What it does is shuts down that part, and the brain uses up memory space, so your own history gets erased and replaced with the new memories. So they slowly lose their character, their history, who they are is incrementally lost by new experiences. And the AI is blurring the land. And AI, if it becomes sentient, it requires a lot of water. Just one question takes gallons and gallons, and it uses fresh water that we need to live. So we're by default, if it becomes sentient, we're going to be the enemy. So they're going to say, we're going to look at, we got control of your electrical system now. AI takes over. This is like the worst scenario. And, you know, we only have this many years to live, and then we're doomed. So we're going to have to depopulate. So you're going to have to get rid of some people because we have too many water drinkers, and that's our life force.
Yeah.
So this is the problem with AI. Every time you ask a question, it just guzzles our natural fresh water. So that's a war. This is a war. Windmills
Absolutely.
are 5G is war. The chemical spraying from the sky is war. The bugs in our food is war. It's all an act of war using the media.
Absolutely.
And I've interviewed a lot of different people from different, like the police and military and army people, and they all say the same thing. If you're willing to cross the line, you will get promoted. And that's how they ensure their power and ensure that bad things are, bad people are remain in power. And you're just aware. You have more of a vast perspective because you're looking up to the top where people don't see the people behind the curtain.
Yeah. I actually go a little bit. My thing is more, I look at this whole thing from a spiritual point of view, okay, because I came in it through Walter's teachings. So I come in through Bible prophecy, and we link everything that's happening at the moment with Bible prophecy. And let me tell you, the most spot on book in the world is the Bible. If you want to understand what's going on, read Daniel and Revelation. We are spot on time.
The little horn.
Yes, everything is happening exactly as it should. We had a very interesting, another link that I put in the book from Dr. Conrad Vine. He's also a brilliant speaker, very good stuff on CBDC and end time preparation, things like that. And he showed us a world map and how many people must still be reached with the truth, not just the gospel, because there's lots of lies around that, as everyone knows, but the truth, the real truth in Daniel and Revelation. And there's actually quite a lot of work still to be done. So, doomsday is not tomorrow or the day after. But I always say to people, but what is the most important time? It's the next 5 minutes. Because, Paul, do you know when you're going to die?
I don't think I'm going to die.
Okay. Well, no one knows when they're going to die. So, if the moment you die, your probation closes, you don't have time to make things right again. So it doesn't matter when the day of Armageddon is coming, or it's not important. Every day, every single moment of every day is important. And I just feel that people who are standing on our side, who's standing on the side of right, we should be the ones that have the confidence. They shouldn't be able to manipulate us in the way that they are doing. We have God on our side. We have got the real power on our side. And if they are the murderers and they are the liars and they are the ones doing the coercion and the deception, what are we afraid of? We should fight with everything that we have now, because if the moment we go into that biometric ID into CBDC, it's over. That is absolute total control. And if you look at all the systems, everything is already in place. My bank in South Africa, if I go to my bank and I go inside and I tell them I want to draw cash, they tell me there's no cash in the bank. You can only get cash at an ATM. There's no cash in the banks anymore. So it is so far already. We are so close to that point where they control us completely. It is very scary. And people always, a lot of people say, oh, but who is the Antichrist? It's not a person. It's a system. It's a mindset. It's an Antichrist system. And this whole control system is satanic. It's absolutely satanic.
And AI says, and Stan says, the COVID vaccine saved millions of lives. So even AI can be used. Here, 2 Thessalonians 9 to 11. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth,
That's
that
it.
they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion.
That's it.
that
I
they
use that
should
verse
believe the
today.
lie. Yeah, that
Yes.
they should believe
Yes.
the lie, that they all may be condemned. So, see, even God is allowing you to be deceived. And look at how much blood
Exactly.
on. Look at
Exactly.
how, he got
Yes.
a lot of blood on his hands for grabbing his ear that's gushing blood. A
Mm.
couple of spots. See, it was all a show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I
We
just
know.
wanted to throw Thessalonians in there. But yeah, Daniel as well. Definitely. But it's weird that because I'm posting about all of this.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
both doing our part. You know, we both are doing the same thing,
Yeah.
working for the same person, or the same
Yes.
entity, our creator,
Okay.
and it's all with love,
Yeah.
right? If you didn't have love in your heart,
Absolutely.
you wouldn't do this. You
Absolutely.
wouldn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would want to live the longest, happiest life that you can live without
Yeah.
all
No.
the mess.
Now, the longer you're on this earth and you realize, the more you understand what is going on, the less you actually want to be here. It's not a nice place to be living at. I cannot wait for things to change and for the new earth to come and things to be different, and the people who really wants to be there to share eternity with them, because at the moment it is just chaos. I mean, every day there's chaos. It is earthquakes, fires, floods,
Yeah.
aircraft crashing every single day. I think this whole year, every single day, a new trauma was on every news. If you wake up, something new is happening. So it's just getting worse, and it is going to get much worse. We're not even at the time of Jacob's trouble yet, and it's already like this. So, and that is what my book does also. You know, it takes people through the propaganda of COVID and then through the mRNA deception. And there's some really good stuff that Dr. John Campbell is doing. He's got really good statistics that he uses, but reliable sources that he uses. So I've got his link in there. You can go and see how many people and how many diverse effects, how many sudden deaths, how many excess deaths there is after the mRNA vaccines. There is no such thing that it's saving millions of lives. Saving them from what? If there's no COVID. If you understand what Dr. Lanka, Dr. Cohen, and Kaufman say, there is no such thing as a virus. It doesn't exist. I myself read a statement from Dr. Louis Pasteur after he wrote his thesis, and I couldn't get that thing again. I wish I could get it to put it in my book, but he said he lied. He couldn't get anyone sick with any of the tests that he's done over all the years of his experiments. And so what he did, he put poison in his injections, and he injected the people with poison. That's how he got them sick and dead at the end, and that's how the vaccine started. So you do not need any vaccines. The Seventh Adventist children, you should see these kids. They don't get vaccines. They are the most healthy, beautiful, and super intelligent kids. They play music instruments. They, from a young age already, they're entrepreneurs. They can make money with things they create with their own hands. So vaccines are, it's a joke. I say it with absolute confidence. I say with absolute confidence, there's no such thing as COVID. You are lying to us. There is no such thing as contagious viruses floating around. If you think about it, I think it's Dr. Tom Cohen that does this lecture where he says, think about it logically. Dr. Tom, if I'm misquoting you, I'm sorry, but he says, think about it. If we could infect each other with spit and with whatever, none of us would be alive. You know, how are you staying alive with so many people and all the germs infecting each other? You won't, it's absolute nonsense. And when you start looking at all the material, you read through the experts' work that they've done, read their books, then you will easily start to see what they are doing to you. It's a circus. These things that they put on TV is a circus. These people that's dying in the streets, and you actually, like I said right in the beginning, I feel embarrassed looking at it, because I can start seeing this movie they're putting up for us, and we must just swallow it. Why? Why should we? My brain is working. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned Daniel, and that's very interesting, because the horn is translated from Strong 7162, which means
Yeah.
Bahra,
Yeah.
which is a little musical horn called a cornet or a trump. But Daniel 8:12, because of transgression, an army was given over to the horn to oppose the daily sacrifices, and he cast truth down to the ground. He did all this and prospered. So let's break that down. Because of transgression, so that is because of transgression, army was given to oppose the daily sacrifices, abortion, wars. See,
idolatry,
mRNA, all the crimes against us, basically. Because of
Yes.
transgression, an army was given over to the horn to oppose daily sacrifices. So he was against all of it. He's pro-life. So there you go. So there's the horn. And then it says, and he cast down the truth. So what did he do? He's got the Truth Social Network. He's called out Hillary. He called out all the deep state, and he threw truth down to the ground, like bold, and like, wow, we got someone who's honest and like telling it the way we want to hear it, the truth. So
Yeah.
he fulfills Daniel 8 because he casts truth down to the ground, and that's exactly a perfect way of saying what he has been doing, what Trump has been doing, casting truth down to the ground. He did that and he prospered. Yeah, well, he is doing very well. But right there, it just aligns with Daniel, like you said. But I like to break it down, because a lot of people will read it and they, they get brain fog, because it doesn't make any sense to them, the language. So I like to break it down and say, he cast the truth down. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, the truth is God's word. That you must understand. That is the only truth that we have, is God's word. And if you go and look, that's in my book as well, how many verses they have changed in the Bible, and they changed specifically Daniel and Revelation on the prophecies, because they don't want people to understand the time prophecies. Now, I hear what you say about President Trump. There is some good things, of course, that he is doing, but you must understand the bigger picture, what he's really trying to do, and you will be shocked to your core, Paul. You must not underestimate that man. He knows exactly what he's doing. There are two big groups forming in the world at the moment. If you go and listen to Professor Walter Feitz, I've put the links in the book. You can go and listen to it. There's a King of the North and King of the South forming. And President Trump is actually a little bit behind at the moment, because he must get the whole East Bloc under his government. And what they're doing at the moment actually is they're rubbing up the two Muslim groups against each other, the Sunnis and the, can't remember now, the other group, because that's the only way that he's going to be able to win them over. So if you understand how these two mega power groups in the world is now forming, then all the puzzle pieces starts to falling into place. But Trump is not a hero, Paul. He is definitely not the godly person that he is trying to show everyone he is. He is just not that. He is deceiving America at the moment. He is leading people into false Protestantism, and he's doing it very well. These mega churches, Rick Warren, all these big preachers, they love him because it's a charismatic movement. It is a movement of feeling, and they feel like they're spiritual but they're not living to the truth. They're not doing what God tells them to do. God's way is very simple. It's not difficult to understand. his 10 commandments are 10 very simple rules, and they are there for your good. They are a formation of character. Donald Trump is definitely not following those 10 commandments. It wasn't even how many years ago that he was telling us women that he loves to grab our boobs and our bums because we love him to do that. You know, where is he coming from? Is he smoking hash? There's no such thing. Women hate that. We do not like that at all. Not decent women. We don't like that.
I've messaged him, and I told him, you cannot say you're a Christian and be for the death penalty. That's murder.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you cannot say, you can't bomb Iran. You can't bomb Yemen and say you're a Christian. Because if I were to say I'm a Christian and I were to be a leader of a country, I would follow my ethics. And that 10 commandments is not difficult. It's not hard. It's not covet. That means tear down your military bases in other people's countries and leave them alone. Stop stealing their resources. That's coveting. That's violating another of the 10 commandments. So I went to Trump. He didn't message me back, and I haven't had any people in these kind of shirts knocking on my door. The men in black. But I suspect it. The thing is, God doesn't give me fear. I have no fear. It's like, go ahead, kill me. Exactly. I stand in truth. That's fine with me. I'm not going to die. You can end this life, but this soul is forever.
Exactly. And, I was thinking today, none of us are in these men in leadership positions' shoes. You must also remember, we have no idea what they have to deal with and what compromises they have to make things work. I cannot even begin to think of what their lives must be like. And there's good and bad in all of them. All of them have some good things, really good things that I can name now. I love President Vladimir Putin very much because of his moral values and things that he stands up for. But he's also done, a lot of things that's a bit crazy. But when he speaks, his spokesperson, when he always speaks as well, they're always so in control. They're so disciplined. If you see President Putin with his country, when they have a big meeting, it's absolutely disciplined. There's order. I love it. If there's one country in my life that I would really like to go and visit, it's Russia. I think it must be wonderful there. But they are all part of these bigger secret societies, all of them. There's not one that doesn't fall under the World Economic Forum. They're all WEF partners. Even the BRICS countries, they are all part of it. Our president, he's so deep in it. I feel sorry for him, so I don't even want to discuss him. But they have good things also about them. It must be hard to always hear all these negative satanic things we all say about them. They're also just human beings. And if you are a true Christian, God says, those leaders, I put them in place. I allow them to be in place. So you have to also pray for them. You also have to remember that those are human beings that need us also in a way. So I don't want to say too many harsh things about leaders because we don't know what they're going through on a day-to-day basis. I would rather like to come back to my last chapter in my book. That's about salvation. Salvation, the mark of the beast, and the changing, how they've changed the Bible. So I just want to speak about salvation quickly, Paul, if I can. It's actually where the deception and the coercion is the most at the moment, and people don't realize it. I've said it from the start. It's a religious war. It's a war for your mind, for your freedom of choice, freedom of who you want to worship. That is what they want to attack the most, because Satan knows he cannot come and say, here I am. No one is going to follow him. So he has to lie to people. He has to coerce you he has to put systems in place that's going to force you to serve him. And what they do is they do it in small pieces. So by the time that the people get to the place where it's actually too late. They won't even care anymore because, they were made used to it. Okay, yes, Paul's off now.
No, I'm still here.
Are you there? Okay.
I take myself off the camera sometimes.
Okay. So, yes, salvation is the one thing that's important to understand, that you cannot do anything to save yourself. You cannot bring anything to the table. You have nothing to offer God. You are going through on Jesus's ticket, on his obedience, on his righteousness. That's how you're going through. No amount of good works, no amount of obedience is going to get you there. But that doesn't say that if you have faith that you wouldn't have good works. It's a natural outflowing of faith to do good works, to have obedience. It comes naturally.
I think so.
So, but it's not salvation by works. And let's not even get into the Roman Catholic Church stand about, that you have to go and ask the Pope for forgiveness or the priest for forgiveness. He cannot give you forgiveness. Only Jesus can give you forgiveness. There is no human being. There's only one mediator, and that's Jesus Christ. No one else. And yes, then the Bible, they've changed the Bible dramatically. If you go, there's a lecture, there's actually quite a few lectures that Walter does on changing the word. And he's made a list. And if you take some of those texts and you look at them in the old translation, the King James, the Afrikaans 33 translation, I don't know, in the other languages, the older Bibles, and then you look at these new Bibles they're bringing out now, you cannot you cannot put the puzzle pieces together. They take it out. And they take it out for a reason, because they don't want you to understand Bible prophecy and where we are now. That's why they're doing it. And it's the Jesuits that's behind changing the Bible.
Exactly. And
Yes.
well, King James, most of us get King James versions, and they're trusted and everything. But he killed his mother. He made like 22,000 different changes. So this guy wasn't particularly a good guy. Mary Queen of Scots was his mother, and him and the British Queen killed her so he could take power. And one of the things he did was change the Bible. He took a lot of books out, because the Ethiopian Bible has like 88 books or something, and the King James has 66 books. And also, I think that I did a show on this about a betrayal of the churches, is Jesuits, and exactly what you're saying, which is, it's crazy that we know all the same stuff. I think I would be banned, because Jesus condemns, because in the Bible everywhere it shows, people healing in Jesus' name. And they were doing it. They were successful. They were healing people even after he was gone. The disciples were continually doing this. But and for me, Jesus didn't say anything wrong. If anything, he taught us principles, values, how to treat your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like he basically living in spiritual harmony, loving other people, respecting animals. The natives are the same here. We pray, we say miigwech at the end. It just means thank you. And I like to say Emmanuel, because I am Emmanuel, which means God lives within me, so therefore I am. It doesn't mean I am God. It just means I am with God. And Emmanuel is with God, with God. But in Matthew 7:22-23. Now I remember this because this was kind of really altered what Jesus is saying here. And let me see if I can add this.
Matthew 7:22-23. I just quickly want to get that in mind.
Here we go. So he says, many will say to me in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? Then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. So he's saying, don't pray in my name. He's saying, and in 2021, it says, pray to my Father. So that's where the church has kind of betrayed everybody, because Jesus is saying, don't do it. See, the people of that time within those words believed, trusted, and their faith was exploded by the presence of Jesus, right? Their faith was so powerful that they were able to heal with that faith, the power of that faith. And he's saying, yeah, people are doing it, but don't do it. Pray to my Father. It's because when he was on earth, he was with God, right? And now he's like beside God. He sits on the right hand of the Father, right? So they're separated again, but they're not, because God is in you and in me and everyone watching. So it's very complex that way. When you talk about the Creator, even when you say God, it's complex, because you have the sons of God in Genesis, the sons of God who got, made us in their image and had babies with us, and then had to drown everybody because of that sin.
I just want to go back to that point that you said, where they say, we did wonderful things in your name, and
yes,
we did miracles and all that. What is asking them, but did you do what I tell you to do? Did you keep my commandments? For instance, the Sabbath, and let's go then over to the mark of the beast and the seal of God. If you say, I know God, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus, then you will do what he asks you to say or to do. I mean, if I'm married to you, Paul, and you say to me, Olien, I don't want you to go to the beach in the bikini because I cannot protect you like that. Please wear something proper, then I know you will be safe. That is what the Ten Commandments is. It's a safe house. It's a God around you to keep you safe. Now, if you then say, oh, but I know God and I speak in tongues and I do all these wonderful things, but you cannot even keep the 10 simple things he tells you to do, then there's a problem. Then you are not doing what God tells you to do. You are doing what you want to do. You are saying, who are you, God, to tell me that I must keep the Sabbath? It's very simple. He says, this is my seal. This is my gift that I give to you, so you can show that I am your creator, that your allegiance is with me. So I give you a day to worship on, and that means that you say that you are my God, you are the creator God that made the heavens and earth in 6 literal days and rested on the 7th day and made it holy. That is the seal. That is how you say, but this is the God that I serve. Now, the Roman Catholic Church has changed it to Sunday, which is sun worship. They changed it to that day. So if you keep that day, you say, okay, but this is where my allegiance is. My allegiance is to the Roman Catholic Church, which it's not. Mm-hmm. There are many people who are keeping church on Sunday that loves God, that really are beautiful Christians, but they are propagandized by this coercion that's been going on of worshiping on Sunday. It's not God's day. Yeah. And that's why I wrote this book. Because how do you explain this to people? How do you break through this cognitive dissonance? Write a book so that they can get it.
I did 2 shows on the power of prayer because I think it's just that important. And yes. Like when you think about it, there's so many gods. Like Amen is a god, an Egyptian god, and everyone makes their prayers in Amen. It's like it's just habit forming. They're just insulting the Creator by saying these other names and including them, and that includes Jesus too, because you want to talk to God directly. You don't want to go through mediators. You don't want to go through Muhammad and Jesus and Saint Michael, and you don't want to include anybody. And that's what when I pray, I don't say the word God. When I talk about God, I say God, but when I pray, I say Creator, because there are too many gods, Moloch, and all these other that are classified as God that can dilute who I'm praying to. So when I say Creator, and I don't ever ask for anything. when I pray, I say, Creator, thank you for this day. Thank you for Olien and all the guests, and I thank you for the air that I breathe and the food that keeps me alive, and your end of water that's in me, and you that's in me. I'm just thankful, and then I end with miigwech, which just means thank you. And I make Mac Canadian, so I'm a part native. So I really think that they've really latched on to how to pray properly and to connect completely without any kind of diluted words. And like I avoid if I ever talk about Jesus in prayer, I will say thank you for the teaching of your son. If I'm going to include him, I don't have to. See, people are obsessed with saying that name all the time. Every time they pray, it's like you're like insulting the Creator right now. Not really, but your prayer isn't getting heard. That's why he says, "I don't know you." He's saying, "I know you prayed in my name. I know you healed people. But what you're doing is lawless because you're ignoring my Father." And he said, my Father is your Father. So I did 2 shows on it because I think it's so important that where the church has really let people down by getting them to pray to Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sinners, and all these other people, St. Joseph and St. Jude, to find things. And it's just an absolute insult to the Creator. It's like the rainbow crosswalks.
Yes.
Paint the rainbow crosswalks to put it on the ground. And that's also another, a crime against our souls, because it's psychological. It's not just, it's visual, it's psychological to put the rainbow on the ground and walk on it and drive your car over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Now, I agree with you. All these names and all these different religions does have a terrible effect on people. And you'll hear many times how people say, the greatest sins has been done under the name of Christianity. But I just want to go back to what you said. You have to pray through Jesus. You cannot throw Jesus' name with all these other names that you've said. Jesus is the only way. If you cut out Jesus, then you have nothing. Because
I agree. He is the way, the truth, and the light. He is the story that we're supposed to listen to. He is our guide. He is the guider. He's the bridge between us and the Creator. He wants us to be closer, but he wants us to go direct. He's showing us the way, but he wants us to pray to his Father. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. There's a beautiful example of the perfect prayer in the Bible, the Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
So
Our Father,
like I said in the beginning. Yeah, it's not difficult to understand the Word of God. It's not difficult to understand what His will is for your life. Just read it, and that's why I also want to implore the people: watch those links that I've given you. Go to those experts. Go to David Irving. Go to Dr. Pierce Robinson. Go to David Miller. Go to Dr. Stefan Lanka, Cohen, Kaufman, the Baileys. Go and listen to Walter Veit's teachings. Go and listen to Dmitry Kolikov. There's really good information in that little book, and it's going to help you so much to put everything together. Just go and do the work, do the research. This is not a great work of literary, like something that must get a medal or anything. This is just a little handbook to tell you, start here. There's some wonderful research here that you can do. If you start with that research, all those guys, they give out plenty information for free. They give you other links. They give you books. There are so much information. You cannot miss the truth if you work through my book. You cannot miss it.
I've seen The Crime of the Century, and so have you. We're witness to and biblically, like the worst times that the history of mankind. So it may even get worse, but I know we're close. Everything is in place. All the prophets of Nostradamus, the last pope, the final pope, 112 pope, and I finally found the link to Peter the Roman, and because he is Roman, but anyway, he's part Roman. So I mean, by by default he fills that. He fulfills even Trump filling the horn, and bragging and arrogance, but it hurts. It breaks my heart being spiritually so. I feel like I'm so in tune with the Creator, like I'm really in tune, and I want everyone to have that. And I don't want to do it by force, but I want their prayers to work. I want them to be heard. Like if I'm talking to you, I'm not gonna go through someone else.
Yes.
Even though someone's going to give me directions to where you are, they are like Jesus. They're showing us the way. They're showing me the way, and that's really the role, because we had no one at that point. We have no one right now, but the church betraying mankind, that breaks my heart. That really hurts a lot, because life is so different with a very active spiritual walk, and it doesn't mean I'm good or smart or better. I see everyone equally. Even the worst of us, I still consider divine. I forgive them because I just feel compelled to. Even though they did horrible things, all of them, the Jesuits, and historically they could have created a renaissance. We had electric cars 200 years ago, and they won't allow a renaissance. They won't allow. They removed bells because they aligned our chakras. Everything. They changed the standard tuning of music so it would hurt us instead of benefit us. Who thinks of these things, though? Who?
I've thought to myself, what if they have used all these millennials of years and all this money and everything and used it for good? Where would we have been? Where would this world have been if everything would have been twisted to the other side and everything would have done for good and for beautiful things, not like it's done now? What a wonderful place the world would have been. But everything good has been turned around.
Are the wars propaganda part of it? Because they all get along with the Antarctic Treaty. They're all on the page.
I don't even want to talk about these wars, because you know what? I'm at the point where I'm wondering. I actually don't even want to say it on air, but all the propaganda is terrible with the wars. It's terrible. It is a nightmare. You must watch. If you watch Dr. Pierce, Walter Fight, and those guys, they never react on something that happens in the media immediately. They usually wait a month, 2 or 3, before they will say something about it because of the propaganda. You have to wait a while to see what is the propaganda game. Then you start seeing, okay, there's the truth. So these wars are terrible, and the propaganda around them is a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
Well, I mean, it takes courage. I think it takes courage to do what we do. I really do. I mean, it takes courage for you too, because that bad people don't like the truth, and like they're criminalizing speech right now in Canada. So it's just all with all the Prince Charles or King Charles. With all the Commonwealth countries are all like completely plagued with this woke nightmare that's so anti-God. Even the Vatican. I mean, you have to live by the word. You can't say you're a Christian and then bomb. It just doesn't work together. You just cannot be a hypocrite about it. Don't even say the words if you're not going to be full on. Because there are good moral values in the Bible. You don't have to be a religious nut to just read it and see the values and know what it is to be a good human being towards others.
Yes, absolutely. And you must always tell myself, all of us are actually a bit of hypocrites, because all of us still sin. If you read the Bible, says, if you say you don't sin, you are a liar, and the truth is not in you. We're going to be sinning until Jesus comes again. But you have the 10 commandments, you can at least lean in the right direction, change as much. Every day is a work of sanctification. Every day you start over again. If I have to tell you the trials that I've been through since I became a Seventh-day Adventist, I must write a book about it. It's incredible that I'm still here. It's just incredible. I've been through the worst nightmares you can imagine. And I've also been through the most amazing miracles. If I tell you, I have to tell you this quickly. This is a little bit off the book, but it's such a beautiful testimony. Me and my daughter are selling books. We're selling books for the church. It's health books, relationship books. We're literature evangelists, right? That was now quite a couple of years ago. And it was month ends, and we were short. It was late in the day. We were working the whole day. We were tired. We stopped at the garage with our car, and I started crying because we were still a few bucks short of our rent money for that month. And I lie on my steering wheel, and I lift my head up, and in the rearway mirror, here comes the biggest white BMW car I've seen in my entire life. I've never seen such a big. It's like a ship turning in slowly into the garage space. And I say to my child, this car's going to come and stop right next to us. This lady stopped so close that you wouldn't be able to open the passenger side, and her hair is this big bush of white hair. She's got a white dress on. She looks like an angel. She shows us, turn down your window. So we're turning down the window, and you must understand, I'm a builder's daughter. My dad was a builder, right? So I'm very down to earth. I'm very practical. I don't believe in airy-fairies. I don't believe in aliens or nonsense. You must tell me the truth, show me the truth, then I'll believe it. She shows me, turn down the window, turn it down. Oh, is it? And she says to me, you will not believe what just happened to me. I wasn't going to turn in by the garage, but the Holy Spirit just said to me, turn in here. There's someone that needs your prayer. So she says, I can see you've been crying. What is wrong? And I said to her what our situation is. And she says, okay, let me pray for you. And she prays. I don't know if she's a charismatic, but she prayed for the entire world. And after she prayed, she bought books from us, and the amount of books that she bought was enough for us to pay our rent. Now, that very same garage, about 5 years after that, I stop at that same garage again. I've been struggling to get my Bible sold. We sell these beautiful, big family Bibles. And I couldn't get this Bible. This Bible has hurt my arm so bad because it's in a box. And I stopped at the garage, and I thought to myself, okay, I've got $20 left. I'm going to put in the $20. I'm going to drive to Roslyn, and I'm going to sell this Bible there. And I stopped at the garage, and a white guy comes walking out of the office. They were probably short-staffed, and I thought, oh, no, this man, if he comes to my car, he's going to ask me, why do I only put in $20 petrol? So he comes to my car. He says, can I help you? I say, yeah, please, can you put $20 petrol for me? He says, why do you only put 20 rand petrol? I said to him, because I sell Bibles. He says, oh, show me your Bible. So I show him the Bible. He buys the Bible from me. Same garage. Miracles like that. I can tell you so many in my life. So I believe in angels. I believe we each got a guardian angel. Most definitely. I've got one. I can assure you that. And I believe that we are so close to the end, and this propaganda game is a game for your mind. It's to take your freedom of choice away from you. It's to make you give your alliance to Satan without you even knowing it. It's a satanic system. That is the Antichrist system. So you have to read this book. You have to do the research. You don't have a choice unless you just don't care about your salvation.
Yeah, the difference between the Orthodox Jews and the Zionist Jews is Orthodox Jews believe in God. Even the Messianic rabbis believe in Jesus. Yes. I had a guest on my show, a rabbi, and but the Zionist Jews don't trust God. They don't believe in God. They're behind all of it. The woke, the gender pronouns, manipulating children. In
Yes.
Canada, they'll change the body parts on a child 12 years old or under. I think they just canceled the how young they can be without parental consent. So a little boy can have his penis cut off without his parents knowing about it. The government will collude with that child and then offer him MAID, where he can kill himself after he's 12 years old. After they destroyed the
Yes.
they can never procreate. They're making a decision at a very young age when they're very impressionable and they haven't completely developed. Even their brain's not fully till like 24, 25 years old. So making these, I don't even think we should vote until we're 26. Because I think our brain needs to be, in order to vote, we need to have a fully developed, well-thinking, critical thinking mind to do it with.
Yes.
Unfortunately, here in Canada, they can lie and promise rose gardens and then just do whatever they want after they're elected. We don't have anyone. And, I think your book's important because it'll give resources to people so they can do it on their own time and have all the documents that will help them have a full understanding.
Absolutely.
Ending in salvation.
Yeah.
The last chapter is salvation.
Yeah.
But you do cover a lot right from the propaganda in the first chapter. And I think that's the most important thing for people to understand. And not just for them, but so they can teach other people that they care about.
Yes.
We need to be informed because they're weaponizing even the truth right now, where
Absolutely.
you could go to jail in Canada for hate speech, and hate speech is anything anti-gender pronoun. So
or
it's
anything
scary.
against the mainstream narrative. Anything against them that's not what they want to hear is hate speech. So which is actually hate speech, but never mind.
But I try to clarify. I say, I speak with love. I love my enemy. So there's no hate in my speech. And I'm not suicidal. I would never hurt myself or another human being. I would never force myself on another human being. I would never finance wars ever. Voluntarily. I would never consent to participating in any NATO wars or any Zionist wars. I don't want my sweat and blood to have any part in it. I wanted to separate myself and preserve my divinity, my divine masculine. Will only use those measures if my life is in danger, personally.
I
think you're probably the same as me.
I the whole gender issue, and I don't even discuss it because it's a simple math for me. You are made like this, I'm made like this. It's simple to discern between the two. So I don't even go into those things. I never debate on those topics because I think it's ridiculous. I think you have psychological problems if you have, a problem with your gender. God is very, very straightforward with that. I don't have a problem with it, so I don't take part in those discussions. To me, it's a waste of time.
Yep, I agree. And it, like I said before, I don't have the spirit of fear.
Yes.
I was afraid at first, before my faith grew and grew and grew. But without the faith, I would be terrified. Because I know the power of the enemy. I know that they're like soulless. They don't behave as though they have souls or any regard creation. They're participating in the creation because God is everywhere.
Exactly.
They don't have a choice.
Exactly.
I don't care if they believe in him or not. They're still in it. They're still in God.
Exactly.
So I mean, why bite the hand that feeds you?
Exactly.
But they choose to, I'm glad it's going to end. I'm so thankful that
Yeah.
it will end. We'll never have to go
Yes.
through this again.
Mm.
The Antarctic Treaty will be understood. Why they all get along. Meanwhile, they're pretending not to be friends, but they really are friends.
Exactly. They're sitting around the sun tables.
Yep. Because they just want to
Yeah.
consolidate their land and their holdings, and you know,
Mm.
and the middle part of the North Pole is called Black Rock, and then they have Black Rock, who owns the world.
Yeah. And did you see these black what do you call them, popping up everywhere now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I started on you about a year ago when you talked about your book. I've been bugging you
Yes.
to go on my show, but the book wasn't
Yeah.
finished yet.
Yeah. It took me I think it took me more courage to gather courage to actually write it. And I think God also had to work on me a little bit, because what I've learned also from all these experts that I listen to, there's not always a black and a white. You cannot always make a strong line. You have to use reason. You have to use you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to look at perspective. You cannot just say this is wrong, this is the only theory, this is the only right way, because things change also. If I think about what we thought about COVID when COVID started and what we are talking now, how it has changed. And it's wonderful because of debate, because of people talking and writing and doing podcasts. A lot of the knowledge has increased. And this is what these guys like Dr. P.S. Robinson and them saying. If you do not allow debate, then people don't grow. You don't get to the truth. If you are not scared of your truth, then bring your facts to the table, bring your evidence. Then everyone can put it together and we can see who's right and wrong. But don't just, humiliate and silence the guys that's got a different point of view than you. Talk about it. Yeah, to have a decent discussion. It's wonderful for our brains. It's wonderful for our emotions as well, to have a decent, nice discussion about things.
Yep. Can you believe it's almost been an hour and a half already?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, no. Then we can
told
say
you.
goodbye. It feels like 5 minutes. Yeah.
There's no time
But-
limit.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing to discuss the propaganda and how it's when you start seeing the patterns, how clearly you can see it. It's actually a wonderful field of study, is propaganda, to study it. There's a short video also on Dr. David, I think it's on David Miller's Substack. There's a short video that him and Dr. Pierce does about propaganda. Oh, it's such a good little video. It's short, but it's so powerful. When you start doing this research on propaganda, you start seeing everything. It just opens up before you. So it's very, very interesting. I love it.
And we do want to reveal these things, but we don't want people to panic. We don't want people to freak out, flip out, start burning buildings down. We have to honor ourselves, because
Yes.
we all have these moments where we realize we've been lied to about something. It could be a girlfriend cheating on you or a boyfriend cheating on you. That's very hard to deal with, and some people can't handle these things. So if you do want to reveal these things to certain people that have like bad tempers and that, you might want to just give it to them incrementally so they don't lose their marbles, because we don't want to lose anybody. Right? People will freak out when they find out what's in the vaccines and how counterproductive they are.
Yes.
Because they really are counterproductive. I mean, and you don't put DNA from an aborted fetal tissue. I think that's obscene, and it's altering your DNA. It's messing with sacred bodily autonomy.
I mean, it's not just not effective. It's a weapon. It's killing people by the millions. if you go and look at the stats of China, just of China, how many people died of those? And we've seen the footages on mainstream media, how they pinned the people to the ground and forced those injections into them. Simply, they weren't even just coerced, they were forced into them.
Mhm.
I don't know how anyone can still take those injections, even if you are not informed and you don't know anything. By now, you should have heard some of the stuff. And like I said in my book, in my family alone, 6 people close to me were severely affected, dead, or this one aunt of mine has now got a 24/7 nurse looking after her. She, and she was a wonderful entrepreneur. So her life is over because of this. So I don't know how people can look at these injections after they listen to these doctors who knows what they're talking about, who shows you the evidence, they show you the tests that they're doing. How can you still take them? What are you taking them for? Why are you taking those injections? You don't need them. There is no virus. Why are you taking the injections? Don't take them. It's poison.
Yeah, I've lost 3 children because after the vaccine, and they were very young, babies. But
Oh,
after the 3rd one, I just started looking at all the ingredients of every ingredient. Then I started, I went from that to rainwater to find out what they're spraying, because they're not going to admit it. They're not talking about it. So the only way is rainwater, because it's in the rainwater. And I found lithium in there, a dosage, enough for a dose for a schizophrenic. So they are medicating us this way.
yeah, they are.
From
They
my
are. Most
from my research, the water samples, you have to take them every day, because they can, put a little more of this and add a little more of that and tweak
Yes.
it, because they can
Yes.
monitor us through Facebook and
Yes.
everything, and what's our attitude, and are we happy and own nothing, is it working? So they can monitor and change it. It's very military, and we're really
Yes.
in a cage. We're
It's
we're in
terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
a
I
psychological prison.
remember something now I wanted to say that I heard you saying in the beginning. You mentioned that the personalities are changing because of the injections. Let me tell you, I thought I was crazy. I saw this happening. I saw this happening with people close to me.
Mhm.
And I thought, it's your imagination. And then I started seeing people on social media saying they can see it as well. And now I've listened to some of these doctors saying it's definitely, it enters the cell,
Yep.
the brain membrane, or what to call,
Yep.
and it does definitely changes your frontal lobe. It changes your character.
Yep.
And it's such a sad thing. There's something else I want to tell you. I don't know if you have picked up on it as well. There's a change in the air. There's a change in the, I don't know, like the atmosphere of the world. The street where I live in is a very busy street. There's always cars. There's spit traffic, and it's really bad. And since COVID, it's changed. It's as if the world is empty. There's a difference in the world. Have you picked up on this? Have you felt this? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I well, like I said before, it stops your ability to have new memories. It uses
Yeah.
old memories, so you're being erased slowly.
Yes.
Like, we have a capacity for a lot of memory, so it takes time. But the mRNA self-replicates. It keeps growing and growing and growing. So it's intelligence. It's
Yes.
artificial intelligence. And it's really bodies of, internet of bodies. It's really digitizing and connecting and blurring the lines between imaginary and real.
But is it not beautiful how the body rejects it? Those things that they take out, those long blood clots, it's not blood clots, it's these, whatever they call it. It's just beautiful how the body is rejecting this. I just love it. How God has made the body. It just doesn't take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does hurt some people in some ways, and it just depends on your genome, but it is targeted. the people that survive it are the ones they want, because they're going to be 100% controllable eventually. All their who they are is disappearing every day. It's being erased. They're being erased basically, and then they're just dependent on their new input on what reality, so if they can add that input, they can make you happy or think you're happy. They make you imagine that you're happy. They can make you imagine that you're not hungry and have you starve to death. So it's mind control to the tyrannical level of Caesar.
Yes. Just before, about a year before COVID, I read a book on Satanism. It's quite an old book, and there's quite a lot of different theologians that put the book together. And one of the things they said of right in the end, what the Satanists thing is that they want to get to is to get us to have a companion that's not a human companion, and that's the cell phones. It's the cell phones. It's AI. It's this ChatGPT. It's the cell phones. It's a nightmare how the cell phones have completely destroyed relationships in so many ways. So it's
I don't even blame. I don't blame demons, the jinns, the devils, because there are bad people. And they have their own thing. Like the spiritual world, I mean, they have spiritual things that they do. I don't think they bother with us. They don't care about us. That Satan doesn't think of, he looks down on us. He doesn't think we deserve God. He looks down on us because he knows God. He has a relationship with God, and he's very close to God and knows God and worships God. He wouldn't bow to us. So
I don't think Satan worships God. Not at all.
He does. He wouldn't put us before God. See, God asked him to kneel before us, man. He's like, they're made from the earth. Like, come on. I'm made from fire. Smokeless fire. I'm eternal.
Yeah, what you're saying.
And I know you, and you know me. And Job, they go back and forth, tempting Job, trying to tempt his, have him prove his faith. Who does he love more? So this is a spiritual thing. This is them playing games with Job, and they hurt Job. They killed his animals, family. So I mean, it's not a nice game. So that whole Job thing bothers me a lot, because really God says, does anyone love me more than? It's almost Trump, like it was a Trump, anybody? I'm your best president. Does anyone love me more than Job? And Satan says, well, okay.
Please don't compare Job and Trump.
I know, but that's how I read it. That's how I read Job. He was with the mighty men, the other angels. He was with the angels and the devils, and they were all together in a congregation, the mighty men. So I mean, Job was. The church doesn't even like to say it's real. They call it poetry. They don't call it scripture. That one particular thing, but I think there's a reason for that too. There's a reason why Enoch is in the Bible. Because I read it. There's a lot of reasons why James took it out. King James took it out. But as you can see, we're both very serious people, and I try to make jokes sometimes, but I'm a very serious man, and you're a very serious woman, and we do love our fellow man, and we do care about their destiny and their future, and we want them to find their purpose, because we all have purpose. You may not know it, but you matter. No matter what anyone tells you, I'm not any more important than you. You're not, we are equal. We're really, really equal under God. God loves all of us and never leaves our side. God is always present.
But the Bible also says always to put other people before yourself. The Bible's point is humbleness. It's a self-sacrifice. And the world's view is, I am God, I'm wonderful, I'm this and that. You are nothing. The only thing you are is that what you are in Christ and what He has done for you. The only thing you have to boast about is what Jesus has done for you. You have nothing boast about in yourself. Absolutely nothing. The Bible says even our best works is like filthy rags. And the
Yeah.
closer you get and the longer you walk with God, you will realize how bad you really are. The more you experience His love and His character, you see yourself, and it's like,
Hmm.
oh, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. But my faith is very strong. I
Mm.
I'm so grateful for that. Like really grateful. And if I can help anybody find themselves or find their purpose, or just open their eyes like you're doing with this book, I mean, I feel so blessed to be able to do that.
Yes.
Just standing in
Absolutely.
truth is so powerful.
Yeah.
And all these people that are telling the truth are really risking everything. We're really putting everything on the
Absolutely.
line.
Absolutely. If you look at these big guys like Dr. Pierce, David Miller, Walter Fights, Dimitri, they've lost everything. They lost the way of how they have an income. They had to start from scratch and absolutely have faith and just walk in faith, and that's how they're doing it. And all of them are doing great jobs. They're forming platforms that really knows the truth can actually use. And what is most beautiful of these all of these doctors and these guys in my book, they don't hold back information. They share the knowledge
Yep.
without any barriers. They just give. And to me, that also shows to me that they have the truth, because the guys who's lying is doing this.
Yeah, and I don't ask for money. I don't promote any products here. I pay for the stream. It's completely a non-profit truth table, and
Okay.
I really feel that's and even in my music, when I write music, I
Yeah.
don't take credit for it. Like, to me, it's like
Yeah.
God was involved in this.
Yes.
So I feel like
Absolutely.
it's like we're doing it together. It's not
Yeah.
just me.
Yes.
Of course, I
Yes.
get inspired by my brothers and sisters. I'll
Yes.
get inspired by a good deed someone does, and that a song can happen from that.
Yeah.
And but I can't say it's me. I wrote that. I do, but I mean, I don't feel right about it, because I feel like I think God
Yes.
had a big part in
Mm.
this, because
Yeah.
I don't think I
I
could
know
do that
exactly.
well.
Yeah. No. I actually didn't want to come on the show because I don't want the attention to be on me, because it's not about me. I mean, everything that I've learned up until now is what God showed me. He's opened this up to me. Every information I got exactly at the right time, the right things has come across my path. So there's no way that you can take glory for yourself, because we are just so so unworthy of that kind of glory. I hate it. I agree with you.
Well, is there anything you would like to share with everybody before we end today? Like, I will put the book up here so everyone can see. It's on Amazon. I will save the link on the thing. Anything you want to tell your brothers and sisters out there? Final words about the book, or any final messages?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm so proud of this little book. It's worked out so well. I've been longing to write this book for such a long time, and now that it's there and I look at it, I'm so proud of it, because it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. It's going to give you your power back. Your power has been stolen from you to make decisions for yourself. This little book will help you to find the road back to that power again. So please use that book. The ebook is actually the better one to buy, because I've left the links in as hyperlinks. So if you buy the ebook, you just go and click on the links, and you write in the lectures and the podcast that I want it to be. And from there, you can build and enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the Truth Table. You are episode 96. So I don't know if that's lucky or not, if you're a numbers person, but I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best. Keep in touch, and I hope your book does very well. I know every person that gets it will have, the power of information. So that's what we're here for. We're here to empower you and to give you love and show you that you matter. So thank you all. This August 6th on the Truth Table. I'm Paul Everton.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
What kind of plane? We're getting reports that an airplane hit the building.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Honestly, I was walking up and looked up and saw a big boom and fire.
I did not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
Any U.S. citizen or anywhere in the world that recorded this, all they have to do is go back to their archives, hit rewind, and watch it frame by frame.